It all started with a single question that I never saw coming. My wife, Hannah, and I were sitting on the couch one evening. The kind of quiet night with the hum of the refrigerator felt louder than our conversation. She turned to me, her hazel eyes flickering with something I couldn't quite place, and asked, "What if we open our marriage?" That one sentence shattered the fragile routine we'd built over 12 years together. I remember staring at her, my mouth dry, wondering if I'd misheard. But she didn't back down. She explained how she'd been feeling trapped, like the walls of our life were closing in, and she wanted to explore herself, other people, something beyond the predictable rhythm of us. I didn't know how to respond. My chest tightened with a mix of dread and confusion, but I loved her, so I listened. Our marriage hadn't been perfect. We'd been through the usual struggles, money stress, raising our daughter, Lily, who was now 8, and the slow erosion of passion that creeps in when you stop paying attention. Hannah's restlessness had been growing for months, though she'd started going out more with friends, staying late at book clubs or wine nights, coming home with a spark in her step that I hadn't seen in years. I'd chalked it up to her finding herself again after years of being just a mom and a wife. But that night, she laid it bare. She wanted freedom, and she wanted it with my blessing. I felt like I was drowning, but I agreed to try it. We set rules. No falling in love, complete honesty, and keeping Lily out of it. I thought boundaries would protect us. I was wrong. At first, I didn't act on our new arrangement. Hannah, though, she dove in head first. She'd come home from dates glowing, her laughter brighter, her energy electric. She'd tell me about these men she met, keeping it vague but honest, like we'd agreed. I'd nod and force a smile, but inside, jealousy gnawed at me. I'd lie awake imagining her with them, some faceless guy touching her, making her laugh in ways I hadn't in years. She was slipping away, and I couldn't stop it. The rules about emotions, they were impossible. She didn't say she was falling for anyone, but I could see it in how she'd check her phone, how she'd hum to herself while getting ready to go out. I felt like a ghost in my own house. Then came the community barbecue. It was one of those sticky summer days, the air thick with grill smoke and kids' laughter. I was flipping burgers, trying to distract myself from Hannah flirting with some guy across the yard, when Vanessa walked over. She was new in the neighborhood, all warm smiles and dark curls that caught the sunlight. We started talking. Small stuff at first, like the heat and the best burger toppings, and I felt something shift. She had this way of looking at me, really seeing me, that I hadn't felt in forever. We swapped numbers for neighborhood stuff, but I knew it was more than that. A week later, we were texting daily, then meeting for coffee, then more. Vanessa opened up to me about her life one afternoon over lukewarm lattes. Her husband, Greg, was a control freak, always checking her phone, guilting her into staying home, making her feel small. She'd married him young and hadn't realized how much of herself she'd lost until recently. I told her about Hannah, about our open marriage experiment, and how lost I felt. We understood each other in a way that was dangerous. The first time we kissed, it was in her car after a late-night drive, rain streaking the windows. It wasn't planned, but it felt inevitable. From there it spiraled. Secret meetups, stolen hours, a full-blown affair that broke every rule Hannah and I had set. Hannah didn't notice at first. She was too caught up in her own world. But as weeks turned into months, the cracks in both our marriages widened. I'd come home from seeing Vanessa, guilt heavy in my gut, and Hannah would be there distant, planning her next night out. We stopped talking about our open experiences. The honesty we'd promised evaporated. Then one night, she came home late, her eyes red from crying. She sat me down and said she needed a break, not just from me, but from everything. She'd been seeing someone steadily, a guy named Mark, and it had gotten messy. She didn't know who she was anymore, she said. I wanted to scream that I didn't either, that I was drowning in jealousy and love and Vanessa, but I just nodded. She packed a bag and left for her sister's place the next morning, leaving me and Lily in a house that felt too big. Meanwhile, Vanessa's marriage was imploding too. Greg found out about us, caught a text I'd sent her one night, and lost it. He confronted her, then me, showing up at my door yelling about how I'd ruined his life. I stood there, fists clenched, as he called me every name in the book. Word spread fast. Neighbors whispered, friends took sides, and Lily started asking why people were mad at us. Greg didn't stop there. He went public, posting accusations online, dragging Vanessa's name to the mud, painting me as a villain who'd seduce his wife. I wanted to fight back, but what could I say? I'd cheated. I'd broken everything. The worst came when Hannah and Vanessa met. It wasn't planned. Hannah had come by to pick up some things, and Vanessa was there, dropping off a book she'd borrowed. The air crackled as they sized each other up. Hannah didn't yell. She just looked at Vanessa, then at me, and said, "So, this is what you wanted?" Vanessa tried to explain, but Hannah cut her off. "I don't care. I just want to know who I married." She left without another word, and I felt the weight of every choice I'd made crash down. Vanessa and I fought after that, about guilt, about what we'd done to everyone, about whether we even had a future. She decided to leave town a few weeks later, needing space to figure herself out. I didn't stop her. Our affair ended as quietly as it had begun, but it left me with lessons I'd never forget. Hannah stayed gone. She called sometimes to check on Lily, but she was done with us as a couple. I heard through mutual friends she was still sorting herself out, maybe still seeing Mark, maybe not. I didn't ask. I focused on Lily, helping her with homework, taking her to soccer, trying to be the dad she deserved through the mess I'd made. The house felt empty without Hannah's chaos, without Vanessa's warmth, but I started finding peace in the silence. I picked up writing again, something I hadn't done since college. It was messy, raw stuff, stories about regret, love, losing everything, but it helped me breathe. Looking back, I see how it all unraveled. One question, one barbecue, one kiss at a time. Hannah and I both changed, grew into people we didn't recognize, then into people we could live with. Losing her, losing Vanessa, losing the life I'd known. It gutted me. But in the wreckage, I found something real. Me? Not the husband, not the cheater, just me. And as I sat at my desk one night, Lily asleep upstairs, words spilling onto the page, I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe losing everything was how I'd finally figure out what mattered.